and say, look, get that to me when you can, because God's got my back and I'll be fine. Which has been true the last, decade and a half, so I'm sure that's gonna be true on into whatever, but that is something that we need to talk about. Well, all right. Anybody got any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Recently we've been seeing a big influx in suicides.
Yes.
And we actually dealt with the suicide at our church recently. One of my cousins actually committed suicide. And she had been battling depression for like the last 3 years. And literally, I had just encountered her probably weeks before. Everybody has been trying, to bring her out of that over the years. But when it happened though, I came to realization that I myself at one point may have been battling depression.
Sure.
My own self hadn't even realized it. Even considered suicide, didn't even realize it. On the praise team, everything else, but still the thought came, but I didn't entertain it because we automatically know, or the thought comes, you kill yourself, you're going to hell. That's what we taught all our life.
Yes.
And so you wouldn't even consider it, but the way we do it is the same way Elijah said, Lord, take my life, I'm ready to go.
Yes.
But what do we do whenever we get to that point where you are so down because of whatever reasons, or even helping people come out of that? Because it's tough. You never know when it's gonna happen, especially when it's over a 3-year period of time that somebody's battling something. And because even when she went, her husband had to deal with the trauma because she hung herself. And so
That just happened
just happened.
within a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Well, it happened in July.
sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. And so even with that, like you talked about making sure that you go to the right person who can handle that. Because I had to realize, even though, I'll be stepping into the pastoral role in January, I'm not equipped to help you mentally come out of that. I can help you with praying, but there's extra stuff that you need to come from out of that.
Given my knowledge of that situation, and that sounds like it was chemical, and it was, there's a difference between just being depressed and having the blues and a clinical depression.
Right.
That is something that everybody has to come together to marshal their forces with medication and other things to make sure that doesn't occur.
Right.
Now us sitting in here, if that's not something that you deal with, you can say, one of the things I joke about, if I'm feeling bad or if I'm feeling sad, I'm gonna hurt myself tomorrow. So I'm gonna keep on saying it. Tomorrow is when I'll commit suicide. Tomorrow. Now I'm joking about that, but tomorrow is when I'll do it. Because when tomorrow comes, it ain't tomorrow. It's today.
Right.
So tomorrow is always far enough away that you can wait. Never make a permanent decision about a temporary situation.
Hello, somebody.
Those are things you can say to folks who are just dealing with the ups and downs of life. But people with real chemical have to get real medical situations to get those chemicals back to where they are. And this was baseline feeling. They are living down here. And the most dangerous part of living below baseline is when you're below baseline, you don't feel like it. But as soon as you feel a little bit better, that's when many of the suicides happen. Not because they don't feel like getting up and doing anything down here.
Right.
But as they come back up, that's when they have enough energy to go find a rope or do whatever the case may be.
Right.
So those folks have to be watched. There used to be stories about folks living on the West Coast, and West Coast people used to live however it was in Seattle where it was always dark. So people used to have this cyclical kind of depression.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't feel better till the summertime. So they get these winter blues. All of that is part of our chemical makeup. But I think we have to do things that we enjoy doing. praise and worship, I hate to take it away from the spiritual, but it kicks in endorphins when you do it right.
Right.
You know, and so that is some of the natural high that you get, that you feel good. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have a song and transfer that into your vehicle, and you can have your own praise party in the car.
That's true.
Amen.
And feel good about that because those endorphins are kicking in. You guys gotta use what, you know, everybody else is doing it. You know, the little stupid kids getting out the car doing what's the song? CJ, the little, they run into the poles and stuff. Kiki song, right? They doing that, they running into. We need to use those things to get ourselves back, to use that as that weapon.
Right.
You know, against the tactics of the enemy. I don't know. I do know how to recognize that, but that person has to admit that it's bigger than they can handle.
Right.
And ministers have to, and not just ministers, but lay counselors and professional counselors got to admit, hey, this is too much. I got to get you in the hospital.
Right.
Don't try to be the man or the
That's
woman. You know, because you guys we're part of the team, but we are fallible. We are human, so we got to allow for some help.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
So how do you know the signs of someone that is clinically depressed versus someone that's just down? What do you look for?
To me,
Not so much look for, but you know, how would I know if one of my family members was?
okay, if they are always down, if you see them, and I would assume everybody is clinically depressed, okay? Like if I saw you and you're sad, especially my daughter's in high school, so I'm really gauging those high schoolers.
Right.
Because they have secret lives and secret stuff, and I'm giving her space to grow and become whoever she's gonna be. But I need to know, are your friends okay? Is everybody okay? And I'm assuming, the reason I say I'm assuming everybody is clinical is because I'd rather err on that side than to miss it and say, oh, they're gonna be all right, and something happens. So when folks when they're always down, when they're always crying, you know, okay, so she's crying today. It might be because she's 15 and hormonal, okay. But if she's crying tomorrow, I'm gonna investigate that a little bit more. She starts giving things away. She starts losing joy in the things that she loves. You know, if my son is walking around the house with his shirt off and she doesn't run and smack it on his tummy, and she says, oh, Dad, it's okay. And she stops doing the things that she just giggles when she smacks him. She's lost the joy of life. That is some of the stuff that you have to keep an eye on. Are they not doing the things that they love to do? You know, some of the older men like to go fishing, and then they say, well, no, I don't like fishing anymore. To me, that should be a red flag. You should, hey, what's going on? But I think we have to be sensitive. That's that village that we used to talk about that raised our kids. It's still the same, and we should be taking care of each other, not just as children, but as we grow up. I mean, people got their own lives, but you got to, if it's your boy, check him out. Hey, you know, call on him, send him a text, send her a text. Amen. What's going on? How you doing? I've been thinking about you. You know, the Lord will put people in your heart that you're supposed to reach out to, that you are part of that.
Right.
Anybody else?
Yes. I just want to add to what you said. When a person becomes withdrawn or they isolate themselves, those are warning signs.
Yes, sir. Isolation. Yep. Speaking of which, yes, ma'am.
But on the other hand, too, you do have people who are presenting like they're happy.
Yes.
You know, so you have to look at those people too, because they do speak it, but because they may seem normal and laughing, but on the inside they're like black. You know what I mean? Like it's just dark on the inside. So to speak on that behalf, I know that she was good, but she was also changing medications as well. So you have to balance and watch when they have those different medication changes too. So
That's right.
they become unbalanced, and when they get that flight of ideas, you have to watch it, because I know that she talked to her uncle, she talked to these people before she passed, you know, and it's kind of hard,
Yeah.
and I know because we work together, and it's just sad because she portrayed that was the happiness that she did, but inside we knew that she was depressed. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to say, is it this way or is it that way? But we knew she was getting help, but the medications and the imbalance and the baby and
Right.
everything played a part. to-
That fake happiness
Right,
is like a smoke screen, and if you don't know any better,
Yeah.
you won't investigate.
right.
And those are the ones that slip through the crack, cause you mean to say something, but you don't, cause they say they're happy, so you're on to the next thing.
But they say it.
Yes.
But then you bypass it because it's like, okay, well then she okay, you know, she's okay
Right.
today. And I think that's probably the signs that was missed
Yeah.
at home or whatever, so.
And if everybody's busy, if everybody's doing whatever they do,
Right.
and you say you're okay, nobody looks at you, is she really okay? Cause I'm sure that was given off, but nobody, you know, when you say things, people just kinda leave you alone.
If we don't press.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know, I'd rather you say, get out my business and leave me alone, than to miss that.
So true.
Especially some kid or some close family member, you don't really call and bother them,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and then something happens.
Yeah, because we went through the entire process where most of the family and the people who were close to her, they all felt as though I could have done something to stop this. And we went through a period of time where I had to really like counsel them, even my own self. I had to come together and realize, hey, Rike, you know, you did everything you could do. You know, everybody really had done everything they could do. And otherwise, if you don't get that understanding, then you'll walk around killing yourself for the rest of your life, feeling as though I should have been there. What if I would have picked up the phone and called her, and now the enemy got you in straight depression your own
Absolutely,
self.
absolutely. Yes.
Real quick, I myself went through a period of depression. I even attempted suicide.
Mm.
I was, I think 7 years old when I found out I was adopted. But the way I found out, I was teased
Wow.
by children that the mom I was living with was not my mom. And you couldn't tell me that she wasn't my mom. And I would always cry, but by the time I got home from school, I would dry up my tears because I would never want her to see me crying.
Mm.
So one day I couldn't hold it any longer. So when I got home, she was like, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And I said, "They told me you was not my mom."
Mm.
And she took me outside and she said, "I didn't give birth to you, but legally I'm your mom." That crushed me because I felt like I was living a lie. I'm totally for adoption because she gave me the best life. But I should have been told
Right.
by her and by my biological parents. I should have been told. Not by children who heard adults
Right.
talking.
So true.
I was teased. That it was like I didn't even know who I was. I felt like, why did my mom gave me away? I had all these questions, and I saw her come into the house, and I thought she was just a friend. And when she told me, "Well, I wanted you to have the best life," and all these questions, and I just lost it. For years, I didn't know who I was. I didn't care. Nobody loved me. So I decided that nobody loved me. Until one day, I met this man named Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I met this man named Jesus Christ who told me I would never leave you nor forsake you. And then he allowed me to meet my husband. And I thank God for it. I was so depressed. I took a handful of pills and I just wanted to die. I just wanted to leave this world. But God wouldn't allow it. He wouldn't allow it. And today I'm a minister. I preaches the word. I teach the word. And I'll tell anybody, I don't care what you're going through, living is much better than dying.
That's right.
Y'all give our hands up. That's real. Yes, ma'am.
What I was gonna say, in addition to what Elder Iris was saying, in Jacksonville, I work for Baptist Health, and we have a program, it's called Mental Health First Aid. And we started out by targeting, number one, the African American community, because in the African American community, to talk about depression is taboo. But in the European American community, you're gonna talk about bipolarism, and they'll talk about stuff all day long, but we wanna keep it all in the wraps.
Yes.
Right.
We don't want anybody to know that we're suffering. And one of the things that we bring out more than anything is how do we create a safe place where people feel it's okay to say,
Yes.
listen, I'm struggling.
Yes.
Listen, I've got this going on and I don't know what to do about it. It's teaching the community how to create a safe place where people feel like it's okay and I'm not gonna be judged because I'm struggling today. Or I'm feeling, I've been teased and I don't know how to handle it.
Right.
It's just so difficult because of culturally how we've been raised.
Yes.
Right.
What happens in the house stays in the house.
Right.
Don't you tell the next door neighbor, if you don't feel good today mentally, it's all right. We work it out in here. You can't always work it out in here. Like you said, sometimes you gotta seek somebody else.
Got to.
So true.
You gotta seek somebody else. But when we learn, that's one of the things that the Mental Health First Aid Program teaches, is like the young lady was saying in the back, how to recognize the signs.
Right.
All of which you talked about, how to recognize it and feel like, and be bold enough to say, baby, what's wrong? Something seems different. Something's a little off today. What's going on with you? And being persistent.
That's
Like
right.
you said, don't hear them say, oh, I'm okay. Oh, you good? Okay, well, you say you good. When you know they're acting outside of their character, you gotta be a little pushy sometimes.
Right.
Be like, y'all, let's, like the thing on TV said, we gotta create an intervention sometimes to say, something's not right, but we gotta make it where it's okay in the African American community to say I'm struggling, to say I'm having a problem, and allow people to step in and help you or help lead you to where you can get help.
That's so true.
I would like to thank, Dr. Johnson. We had, maybe 90 days ago, we had a forum here, and we were talking about suicide during the summertime. And I thought that was good. This is the place where you can get folks and get them trained so that that army can go out and deal with folks on a daily basis.
Right.
And people, you're not turning them into counselors. You just got to get folks to recognize.
It's first aid.
This is something that's off, but some of these old men are messing with these young girls, right? And when you look at the little girls, and maybe just because I got a daughter, I can look at her in the face, and I can tell you that she is less than 18.
Right.
She looks like a kitten instead of a cat.
Right.
The features change when kids get older, right? I believe that dealing with mental health and dealing with other issues is the same way. If you look in a person's eyes, look at it. And if you know it, you can, that just does not seem right.
Something's off.
Something is off. And then so when, back to the other example, when you hear them guys say, oh, I thought she was 18, man, they lying. Because she looked 14.
Right.
So if I can see that, you can see all kind of other things. I'm just being real now.
It's true.
So we are here to be the body of Christ in all of its facets. So that means that folks are going through, they should not be going through alone. And our job is to help them however that they may need that, so that they don't have to go. Or whatever they're going through, they're gonna get through it and be on the other side. And so, I know we turned it into something that it wasn't.
No, it's good.
But if that's where it had to go, that's fine.
It was good. It was good.
I'm gonna give this to you, so.
Let's give